Okay, class, today we're going to start talking about the experimental method. And before we do, we're going to talk a little bit about what factors to look out for when we talk about the experiment. Remember, psychology's most powerful tool in doing research is the experimental design. Your experiment has enough control over factors that could affect the outcome that we can say we have 95% confidence level in supporting a hypothesis if the statistics support that. We also can make the conclusion about cause and effect that a variable likely caused a change in some sort of effect outcome. For example, we might be able to say that reading fashion magazines, if you're a young girl, can cause body dissatisfaction. In other research methods, remember, we can't do that because we don't have control. Or we might say that exercise can cause you to be smarter. Now, we're not going to talk about those specific experiments, but these are conclusions that the experiment might allow us to be able to make. So a couple of things about what we need to know about the next few videos. One, you need to be able to identify and explain key components of the experimental design, all the key parts, independent, dependent variable, hypotheses, all these different types of flaws. You have to be able to develop a simple experiment if given a psychological research problem. It's likely that the AP test designers, ETS, might give you one of those for an FRQ. You have to be able to evaluate a current or a sample experiment to identify key parts and design flaws. And you have to be able to generate possible solutions for experimental design flaws and explain their advantages. And certainly you're going to have to describe and explain and be able to identify key ethical violations in an experiment, because we've already spoken about ethics. Now, there's a lot of terms in this unit that you're going to have to know. You probably know some of them already, but be aware that you have to be able to distinguish between some of these confusing term pairs. These are some of the term pairs that are most likely to be mistaken on an AP test. When we do our review at the end of the year, we're going to see some of these word pairs again. So make sure you can define each of these, you can explain each of these, you can give examples of each of these, and especially be able to explain how they are or why they are different. Okay? So now what? Well, be extra careful in this unit. I'm probably going to make you take some notes on occasion, but if I'm talking in this video, you probably should be taking notes somehow, either with the notes I gave you, you should be highlighting and supplementing those notes and expanding on them, or taking your own notes. Remember to be kind and rewind if you need to, stop and pause if I'm asking you to think about some practice problems. Do stop and jot down some notes for yourself when you need to. I'll probably give you some practice problems. I might call these quad D activities. These are important types of questions to be able to answer for questions on the AP test and on tests such as the ACT test. These kind of extend your thinking and they put you into problem-solving mode. You check yourself periodically and just ask yourself questions. Think metacognition here. Are you thinking about your thinking? Do you understand? Are you thinking correctly? And be sure to use your book. It gives you a greater depth of knowledge and understanding than we can do in a video or in notes. And write down questions as they occur, because I'll give you opportunities to go over these in class. So a couple ways we can do this. I may ask you to take some Cornell notes on the left-hand side here, where you record notes during the videos. And afterwards, you kind of do some summary statements for yourself. These will prime your memory for recall later on. And then maybe a day later, when we get into class, I'll ask you to summarize. And you can do these in many different ways. So the picture on the right shows there's a lot of different ways to take notes and make them more meaningful to you, which will help you on unit tests. It'll help you understand information better, and certainly when we review for the AP test. So that's it for this video. We will get started with the next video on experimental methods. Good luck.